Welcome to Homebrewing TV and happy Homebrew Wednesday.
It's been a while since we've done a homebrew one.
It's been a long time,
while, yeah.
long time. Mike, you had just gone on a trip to where?
Well, I was fortunate. My wife and I just took a trip overseas and went to the Normandy area, but it was just not Normandy, folks. Beer aficionados know not far from Normandy is Belgium, which is, in my opinion, beer Mecca. And when you go to Mecca, you've got to go to, well, the so-called #1 rated beer entity in all of Belgium, and that would be West Vleteren.
Yes.
And yes, I had the pleasure of visiting, not the Abbey, I was not able to do that, but the shop in De Vrede, and sampled every one of their beers that they had there. When I got out of the car, there was a small parking lot, and it was starting to get late. And so I just took my camera out and I started taking photos. And the first photo would be the grounds where you enter. And is the actual West Vleteren shop in De Vrede, where the beer is served, and munchies as well. The food is very good. Then, of course, everyone is there for the Trappist beer. They serve 3 kinds, and I sampled each one of them. There's also a menu that goes with...
When you say you sampled each one, do they have that on tap?
They actually have them in the bottles, if I recall correct. It's not tap. They actually
So when you say sample,
bottles.
you had to have an entire bottle to sample.
Yes, of course, Paul. Paul, one does not go all the way
Lucky
to Belgium and not drink. Yeah, actually I am. And I would recommend this to anyone who's going to be in Belgium, by the way. There are 3 types. There's a West Vleteren Blonde, which is about a 6% beer. A West Vleteren 8, alcohol by volume, and then a West Vleteren 12. And that's the beer that we're going to try today here, Paul. And that one is about a 10.2% alcohol. This is the West Vleteren beer. They don't put labels on it at all. The only indication that you have a West Vleteren beer is by the top of the top of the bottle cap. And that there is a 12. And they sold that in a gift pack. You get a couple of beers and a couple of glasses. And this is one of the glasses here. It's a 0.15 liter glass. And actually 2 of them came with the gift cap, or gift package rather. So that's what we've got here. So that's what we did. And I recommend anyone going to Belgium to try this out. And there's lots of good Belgian beers. So anyway, got to go straight to the #1 if you're going to try this out.
All right.
But we have an extra twist today, Paul.
What's this?
When I was drinking the 12, it's an outstanding beer, don't get me wrong. It reminded me a lot of another beer that I've had here, another Belgian beer. And that was the St. Bernardus. And this is also an Abbey Ale. It's also a Trappist beer. And I thought that for our folks out here, that we would do a taste test to see whether what you found better.
Okay.
Because I found them, they're both outstanding beers, but I just thought that it'd be entertaining and interesting to see what you found.
The world #1 rated against
a very highly rated beer.
All right.
Because they're very, very similar.
All right. Well, let's get to this.
Let's do it. I am going to open up the West Vleteren. And of course, the West Vleteren will be in the West Vleteren class.
I didn't bring mine.
You didn't bring yours? I gifted him a West Vleteren class.
I will use the blank glass.
You'll use a blank glass, that's fine. And then we're going to put the St. Bernardus in these other 2 glasses. And we're going to have a taste comparison. So, folks, this is it. Whoop, still nice and carbonated. Yeah. Whoa, too carbonated.
Oh boy.
Come on.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
No, it's not that bad.
Oh, that looks lovely.
It does look lovely. And you know what? The aroma right away hits you. It is a lovely beer.
I wouldn't know. You didn't let me smell it. So it's okay. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Isn't it? It's not like a line of Coke, dude.
No, just
inhale.
I'm just excited now.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Easy, boy,
Right,
easy.
right.
All right, so we're going to pour this here. Nice head on that. Nice dark color. Oh, looks like it got a little bit too.
Mine get more excited.
Yours. What do we say? A little early, prematurely.
Yeah. That's because I was so excited already.
Oh, jeez. Wow. All right, let's finish up this division.
Yes. Let's
Let's just move on from here,
Yeah.
shall we?
Okay. All right. Whoa.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Paul,
Paul,
are we drinking first, or are we gonna pour all and then?
why don't we pour them all and then
right.
compare? I think that might be a good idea.
I'll just give that.
The next is the St. Bernardus.
I will take mine over here.
Take yours over there. Okay.
Whoa, there we
We're gonna
are.
have
This
to
one is
look
very
at that.
excited.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to see you.
I guess not.
Well, they're both carbonated about the same.
Yes, they are. They were both just at the room temperature here, which I figure is about 60 some odd degrees. It's a little on the cooler side. Again, my goodness.
I don't know. That's just mid glass, apparently, or mid pour. It starts
Mid pour, it starts to go. Well, that's one thing these two have in common right away.
Mm-hmm. Now I got a fatter glass, so you can fill yours higher.
Oh, jeez. All right, there we go.
Well, I would say that the head retention
Very similar.
very similar. Almost identical in color.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see any difference really.
Yeah. It is that same nice
All right, so
dark color.
We'll swap these so that they're the same. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So my west coast is on the south side here. Is that the one yours? All right. What do you got for a nose comparison? Wonderfully smooth.
Well, it smells fantastic.
Mm-hmm. This is a very, very rich, smooth.
Trying to get the
You know what though?
descriptive words out of my mouth though.
The St. Bernardus is a little stronger.
Yeah, it's got a little, almost an alcohol burn on the aroma.
Yeah, it does. I agree.
Yeah, and this is much more rounded.
Yeah, it's definitely more rounded. It's smoother. It's possibly been aged a little longer, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Is that probably okay? All right.
All right. Well,
So for the taste test, the West Veteran first.
yes. Cheers.
Cheers. Certainly is smooth.
Oh,
Silky.
and that's the right temperature to drink this at too.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last one I had was cold, and that,
Okay.
that added to the sharpness of the flavors. This
Right.
this at about 60 some degrees, everything just kind of melds together.
Yes, I agree. There's nothing harsh. All the notes come out with this beer. Little bit of
Yeah.
coffee.
I'm getting kind of almost just not heavy, but it's a little raisiny.
Yeah.
And then on the back end, it's
Just an
a
edge
little,
of hop. Is that what, or just a little heat?
that could be it. Yeah, a hop is a good way to put it. It's a little bitter,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel the heat
Mm-hmm.
just in your mouth, like for the alcohol,
Mhm.
but it's not like
It's not in your
Bad.
face,
Right.
right?
Not
And that's a better than a 10-point beer.
okay.
So anyway,
Right,
to
so on
the
to Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard.
Cheers.
Yeah. Similar,
Yeah, very similar.
but yeah, because I'm mixing up senses here. There's more body
Yes.
in this
It's a
beer.
little fuller.
It's fuller, definitely. The flavor profile is more bolder. It's not as smooth, but that's not a bad thing. I think it's a little hotter. It's not as hoppy, though. The bite from the St. Bernardus is not hop, it's more alcohol,
Right.
whereas the bite from the West Flandern beer is more hop and less alcohol.
Now, interesting. If you do side by side, like one right after the other,
Yes?
you're saying this has more body, more full.
Yes.
I tried that and then tried this. I found this to be actually kind of watery after drinking that.
Okay, so in other words,
shot.
he's saying
Give it a shot.
my okay,
Give it a
back
shot.
and forth.
I was agreeing with you until I did that.
Okay, well, here goes.
I found that to be a little thin.
Gotta disagree. They both kind of blend. I think this one became a little more bold after this was on my palate. And that could be just mixing stuff up.
It could be.
These two are very similar.
They're very similar, but I have to say, I still think that this one's
Bledrin.
better. This
The
one's
West
better.
Flandern, yeah.
Not that this one's bad.
No, not at all. It's outstanding, actually, and very similar.
Yeah.
The West Flandern is just smoother, less sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the aging, and the water in the water profile here. The water is something with the sense. It's like almost like a softer water maybe that was used. I don't think they use soft water. Don't get me wrong.
No.
But that's the sense. If anyone's got a water softener at home and they you shower and just it's different from hard water. So I just think there's fewer minerals maybe in the water. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, there are just more harsh edges to this one.
Yes, yeah,
And it dries out. It dries out your tongue at the end.
it does.
This one does not.
It does. This one is more abrupt. It's more in your face. And not in a bad way. It's just a variation on a theme.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, long story short, comparing our two brews here, Paul, what do you got to say?
Go to Belgium.
Go to
Go to
Belgium.
Belgium.
And you can figure that out for yourself then. They were great at, the shop is called In de Vrede, and it is located, I had it not far from a little town called Paparinga, if I remember correctly. And we stayed in Paparinga and stayed at on a hop farm, actually. It was a converted hop farm. It used to be, there's actually strings and poles all over the place. They had already taken all the hops off the vine.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it was. It was just there a little late, but we were there in the latter part of October, and it was nice. This is beer capital, folks. Belgium is definitely a place to go if you are an aficionado of beer. Maybe one of these days we can get him to come over.
Right, yeah, and I'd love to. Just because I am not very worldly. Go figure. So we're upper Midwest, so Wisconsin.
Yes.
Climate-wise, about the same?
It's more of a maritime climate. It's not a continental climate in Amsterdam. In other words, the climate there is probably more like that which you would see in Portland or Seattle.
Okay.
It's influenced by the Atlantic, and so it's got more of that maritime aspect. We're here in Wisconsin. We already have snow all over the ground, and it's only, November 7th today? And
Yeah,
they don't have very much snow there. Occasionally they'll get it, but they're warmer. Their summers are, well, except for this summer, are usually not as hot, and the winters are nowhere near as cold. It's more like Portland or Seattle.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you brought these back. I enjoyed the tasting. I hope you guys enjoyed the tasting.
Or watching us
you didn't
taste
get
it.
to taste it,
Yeah.
but hey, if there's we're always looking for ideas. If you ever have something you'd like us to look at, review, beers, equipment, whatever, just let us know. Put those in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. You guys fuel what we do on this channel. That's not really all I got. So, hey, as always, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. YouTube's always changing their algorithm, so if you hit that like button and that bell icon, you'll more likely get notifications when we do put out new stuff. So please go ahead and do that. And until next time, keep
Cheers.
brewing, my friends.